I think Georgia's, has come into the race for things is because, Mark Fox has done a good job down there.
How many guys has Mark Fox put into the NBA? How many guys?
Oh, just
Two
one.
This year. How many is Patino putting in this year? One.
Yeah, you're right. We can take specific small samplings. Jennings probably won't go to the NBA, so 0.
He could.
He could. Probably won't. So Mark Fox wins this year. Does that mean Mark Fox is a better coach than Patino?
Historically, no, but you're not. His system might be more fitted for it.
Mark Fox's might?
Yeah, for a small guard, yeah.
Possibly.
And he's got to come in and play behind Siva anyway for at least a year, right?
At least, yeah. For 1 year, his sophomore year, Siva would be a senior. If Siva doesn't go pro after his junior year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of liken it. I'm devil's advocate in the situation. If these guys, if Harrell was so good, why wasn't Louisville and UK all over him coming out of high school? I think coaches definitely like the transfer of a good player. It's because he's already played in college. He knows, how things go. Can come in and is probably physically ready to play, apart from some freshmen. But, I like the old adage, it's like sometimes it's, when you're at the bar and it's, 2 a.m., sometimes you go home with what you can. Sometimes I think that in situations like this, it's Harrow, I think, yes, a good player, but I think he is a player that may be put a little bit higher on the pedestal of the ability that he really is. I think, if this had not been a situation to where he's transferring, I don't think UK or U of L would have probably, looked his way, or they would have coming out of high school. I think, Kentucky and Louisville both did recruit him lightly, but they saw some other things they liked in other guys, and I kind of, like going with that, first off.
Of course. And we don't even know, I mean, Patino was pitching one thing, Calbar could be pitching a totally different. Their interest levels in him might be totally different, too. We don't know that Cal's pushing for him as hard as Patino is, or vice versa. So
certainly, if Harrow wants to go to the pros, I would even say he should go to Kentucky. If that's what his and it has to be his main goal. If I was his dad, I'd say go to Kentucky, probably, over Louisville. I think it would be a perfect fit for Louisville to get Harrow.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just disagreeing with the selling points, perfect fit for both sides. That's the only thing I'm disagreeing with.
And I'm disagreeing with the whole notion that St. John's and Georgia have anything on Louisville in bringing a guy like that in.
Well, recruiting class this year, didn't they do better than Louisville this year?
Yep. I think
they're doing something right.
They are doing something right. St. John's is.
We'll have to,
Is Georgia?
It's in the Big East. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Yeah, I don't think
Georgia has a good class coming in.
Yeah.
I don't think
Georgia has a really good class. I would say Louisville's is probably better.
Yeah, what?
And their basketball program's also a little bit better.
Historically.
And
presently.
Moving on, because I do want to get into this topic, because it really is the biggest news, and we'll end the show with this, is the huge announcement for Terrence Jones to come back to the University of Kentucky, making Kentucky a fortified national championship contender. I was talking to Kelly on the phone earlier. I don't know how you feel about it, Adam. I think really with this Kentucky team coming back, Final Four or bust. National championship game or bust. Unless North Carolina takes this team out, it is a failure if Kentucky does not win the national title.
North Carolina is probably the most talented team in this decade, probably. Championship game or bust. Ohio State, they're not really losing anything either, and they've got a good recruiting class come in. I'd say North Carolina, Ohio State, any other team beats them, it is a bust. I'll agree with that.
See, now I would have to disagree about the Ohio State team. Ohio State, you're bringing back, one lottery pick, which is the same with Kentucky, but the recruiting class isn't even on the, all I'm hearing is this is the best recruiting class since the Fab Five. There should be no question. And you beat this Ohio team. You beat pretty much the same Ohio State team with the lesser team, and you're bringing in much more. There should be really no question that this Kentucky team.
You lose Brandon Knight too. He was pretty important.
Very important.
I mean, I'm fine with
Harrelson.
that. I think that we're better than Ohio State. I'm just going. I saw. I mean, it's way too early for this, but I saw Slam magazine drop their top 25 for next year, and they had Kentucky at 3 with UNC, Ohio State ahead of them.
Really?
So that's yes. That's the only reason I say that. I think Kentucky could beat Ohio State. I don't think that they have necessarily a big like Josh Harrelson. Not that he was awesome, but he was certainly a good college player his senior year. They don't have a big banger, down low, bang, get you 10 boards a game. Anthony Davis is no comparison to him and Josh Harrelson, much better. But you know what I mean? To go up against Sullinger, I mean, he's given up 100 pounds.
I think Jones could certainly fill that void.
Yeah, and
he could, and that's why him coming back is so big. He gives them so much more depth than what they would have had.
So much more muscle.
Definitely, and I think what you're under, which is definitely overlooked, is now you have 3 solidified guys that have played in Calipari's system. And I mean, just from, last year, Calipari's first year with the Wall, Cousins, Patterson era, I think this team, this past team, even though they were beaten outright sometimes, I think they picked up the system a little bit better and a little bit quicker than the Wall and Cousins team. The Wall and Cousins team just out-talented you. There was,
they did.
Yeah,
and you also had DeMarcus Cousins and Patrick Patterson and Daniel Orton down low, so you didn't do as much of the dribble drive. I mean, you had the best post players in the entire country.
Yeah, hands down, the best muscle inside.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I don't think you'll have that, but I mean, I think the wide variety with this team, if it can gel, chemistry goes a long way. And it seems like I follow all these guys coming in on Twitter, and Gilchrist is attending Anthony Davis's high school graduation. Like, it seems like through the All-Star games and everything, they've developed a really tight bond already. Yeah, and I think, everything I've heard about Gilchrist, is I could really see him being a glue guy for this team. I see him probably, being in a position to where he comes off the bench. I just see him.
Who's that, Davis?
Michael Gilchrist. Just being a guy that, that has that motor.
I don't think so at the end of the year. I think he's too talented.
Somebody's going to have to sit on the bench.
Then you look at Miller. Then Miller's got to be the one that, unless Miller
or Lamb.
But Miller,
Lamb, wow. Yeah, I guess.
But see, I think, if everything goes well, this is why this team could be so good, is because, I was listening to the Tom Leach show today, and he brought up a great point. A great point is that Terrence Jones, how he's going to benefit so well from coming back is he's going to go against great guys in practice. I mean, there are going to be some hellacious practices in Lexington. You talk about just the competition that you're going to get from these guys, and I think, I think Miller steps up, and is finally the player that everybody thinks he can be. I think, he's going to fight for it. Obviously, Gilchrist is going to fight for it. Lamb is going to fight for it. I mean, everybody says, everybody kind of expects that Davis is going to be, just irreplaceable. Shoot, he's going to have to fight for it, because you're going to see that, that they could go small and Gilchrist could easily play the 4. You could go Terrence Jones at the 5, Gilchrist at the 4, Miller at the 3, Lamb at the 2, and then Teague at the 1. So, I mean, I don't think Davis's starting job is just set in stone like everybody else says it is.
Yeah, and Calipari, he's made it known that he promises playing time to no one. Like, when he recruits you, the best players play, period. So.
Hey, guys, I hate to cut it out here, but we got to wrap up the show. We do want to encourage you guys to go on the website, KentuckySports.co. Check it out. Create a profile. It's really important you do that so you can share your knowledge with everyone that's on the site. You can talk with other rival teams within the state.
Sharing is caring, folks.
Sharing is caring.
You can get in on the blog debates. It's some good stuff there.
Give it to Kelly. He loves it.
I love it. I mean, I know the Kentucky fans will dish it more than Louisville fans. I'm ready. Bring it.
And we need some more diehard Cardinal fans on there. It's kind of Kentucky taking over right now, so Louisville fans, get out and show your support.
Do it. Make sure you call the rant line again, 877-452-1231. We will play it on the show if you leave a message. Just do that. I know you got something you want to talk about, so just do that. We'll put it on the show, and we'll we'll converse about it.
Seriously,
We'll argue about it.
877-452-1231.
We'll probably call you an idiot too, or Kelly probably will. I don't know if Hank will. I might, depending on what the statement is.
I definitely will.
Bird definitely will. He'll come all the way up from Lexington just to do it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Great show tonight, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
See ya.
See ya. Good night, Bird.